Today we are starting a Kuzco cosplay build. In this first video I will show you how I use EVA foam to make the crown as well as the chest piece. In the second video I will show you how I made the tunic, so the dress, as well as the wig and the accessories like earrings. However, when I actually made the costume, that's not the order I made things in, so you will see that the wig as well as the tunic will have a guest appearance today. When I made this costume, this time there was a bit of an extra challenge because I was moving. And I knew I wouldn't have time to finish the costume once I moved before the event. And so yeah, let's see if I actually finish the costume before moving. Let's get started with the cosplay and start talking about EVA foam, what types I used, and where on the cosplay it will go. I want to start working on the crown or the headpiece of Kuzco.
Oh, right.
The crown.
For Kuzco.
The crown.
Chosen specially to kill Kuzco.
As well as on his chest plate or armor piece, I don't know how to call this, but those are the next two things I want to focus on. And I will use EVA foam. I have EVA foam sheets lying around to make those. And for those of you who have not worked with EVA foam yet or are new to this, EVA foam is it's just like craft foam. In Germany we would call it Moosgummi. And it comes in different thicknesses. You can see here I have one that is quite thick, but then compare that to something that's very thin. So there are different thicknesses, but there are also different densities. So there's low density, high density, and ultra high density, as far as I know of them. There might be more, but those are the three I'm working with. The low density foam is really good if you want to make very organic shapes or very rounded shapes. Then we have the high density foam. It has more structure. So it's for more rigid things. So it's high density and a bit more structured. And then we have ultra high density foam, which is this, which maybe it's not so visible right now, but it has even more structure. And what I want to do is for the crown, I want to make the head piece itself, like the head, I want to make from low density foam, so it can just adhere to my head nicely. And then this, whatever I would call what he has on top, I want to use very high, ultra high density foam, so it keeps its shape. And then for this press plate, I will use high density foam, mainly I could have used low density foam, but I will use high density foam mainly because that's what I still have, and I don't want to buy anything new. So the next steps will be now, first of all, to put on our wig. I haven't cut it yet, but I will put on the wig and then see if my paper pattern, I've already made like a paper pattern. I will see if this fits. Let's turn into an egghead together. I like using these mesh type wig caps because I found they give me less headache than the nylon type ones. It's important to always test your head or cap pattern while actually wearing the character's wig. Ask me why I know. Okay, so this is how it looks now. Needs some work. It is a bit big, but I will be using 5mm or 4mm EVA foam. I have to measure, so it will take away some of the size. So I think I will use this. Floor troll mode activated. To mark and then cut out the foam pieces for the headpiece of the crown. I used my trusty heat gun to shape the pattern pieces before gluing them. If they already have a bit of a curve before gluing, that helps tremendously. Again, ask me how I know. I love learning from past mistakes, if I remember them. Sometimes I also really like to repeat past mistakes. Not sure what that says about me. To glue my foam pieces together, I am using contact cement. Here it is important to not apply too much. I like to spread it with some leftover foam pieces. Once the glue is dry to the touch, I go ahead and carefully line up the foam pieces to make the head. I was even thinking ahead and added registration marks this time. They really do help keep everything aligned. this is where we are right now. Looks great. So I just cut out a piece of cardboard to make this shape on top, and I just taped it on with some tape. I think it's size-wise, it's perfect. I still have to adjust the shape here, but that's why I put these lines onto the tape. So hopefully that will help me adjust this, but I think I will go ahead and cut this now out of the foam, the ultra high density foam, and then see if I can glue it on, and we continue. Honestly, I only kept this clip in so you have something crafty to look at between me talking. So enjoy! And ta-da! I glued the heads together. You can see it's sticking nice and firmly. One thing you can't really see here because there is a line painting over it, but what I did to add those grooves that Kuzco's head has as well. So normally if you slash EVA foam with a normal box cutter, you can see this very thin line. However, if you blast that line with a heat gun, you see how it gets bigger. So the second line here. And that is exactly what I did on the head as well. So later when I prime everything and paint it, it should be a very visible line. But yeah, talking about priming, the next steps I need to do is to glue on some more decoration, I think, and then do the priming. I decided I wanted the ridge at the bottom of the crown, so I glued a long strip of foam on. I also added a few resin half spheres at the front of the crown for some visual interest. And because they make me happy. I am using Plastidip to prime the foam. Plastidip is very not good inside your lungs, so make sure you wear proper PPE. For the gold color to later really pop, I gave the crown a black base coat. Although the Plastidip already helped it give a black color. Better safe than sorry. And then I sprayed gold. This is how the crown looks right now. You can still see the seams where I tried to make it look nice. Obviously it didn't work, and I could say that's because I was anyways planning on covering this up, but the truth is I just suck at foam work, so that's something I really need to improve on. Otherwise it's okay. I screwed up a little bit here where I just sprayed too much color and then it dripped. What I will do now though is add some weathering and painting to make it look more 3D. Well, I guess it is 3D, but you know what I mean. It looks just more like, yeah, dimensional. Also, I think you can see now, I was mentioning before these little grooves that I cut into it. You didn't see it at all before, but now they're nice and prominent. This is how the head looks right now. As you can see, I added some colors, I added some dimensions everywhere. I used mainly just different acrylics as well as some mica powders. I have, you see these different cool powders to get this look, and then I sealed everything in with like a sealing spray. And this is how it looks now. I still have to attach it to the wig later. Also, what I will do now is cover up these ugly seams, but then we're basically done with the head. To attach the trim, I used a type of fabric glue I have. Initially, I tried hot glue, and that did not work out at all. The fabric glue though is amazing and it dries clear. Next, I want to focus on how to attach the crown to my head or my hair, and what I decided to do. First, I want to try if magnets work. So in these pouches there are some magnets, some neodyne magnets I sewed in there, and then we have some metal plates here that I can glue to the inside of the crown. And I want to sew these little pouches with the magnets to my wig and see if that works out. So, let's see. Well, never mind. I actually decided against the magnets, and right now I'm sewing in Velcro into the wig. I think it looks fine here, and it's gonna be hidden by the crown anyways. But yeah, so the magnets just did not hold. I'm not a big fan of magnets, and this just proved again like I not good. That's enough of the crown for now. Let's get started working on the chest armor. I am currently working on making the pattern for this chest plate armor type of piece, and I just wanted to show you how I look right now wearing the actual shirt for Kuzco, but then this paper version. I want to make the pattern first of paper to see if it actually fits. I think it looks nice. Maybe I should just go like this to the convention, like Costco has no money anymore type of thing. But yeah, I think it's fine. I will do some small adjustments before putting this on the EVA foam. But yeah, I just wanted to show you how great this looks. Since I was very happy with how the pattern turned out, I went ahead and traced it onto some sturdier paper, making sure everything was symmetrical. Although I used a fresh blade on my box cutter, I messed up a little when cutting out the foam pieces. I had to pay for my carelessness by sanding down the edges. And as much as I love most parts about cosplay making, I absolutely loathe sanding. As you can hopefully see, I made some progress on the breast back plate armor. I originally wanted to keep these two pieces separate and use Velcro on top here to put them together, but right now I'm actually thinking maybe I just cut a stripe in the middle. I used the same technique I used on the crown for making these like gashes or like those stripes. You will see that better once again everything is painted, but yeah, I think it's fine. I used heat to shape this. I tried to take a video of how I'm shaping it, but it was a bit stressful, so I'm sorry there is no video of that. I will now glue things together, start priming everything and paint everything, and I will see you back later. Enjoy some footage of me gluing things together. Maybe the title of this video should be Annie is cutting out things from foam and gluing them together. What do you think? Just something I want to show you. I never thought it would actually work. So you see how bent this side is, and that's only because I glued another piece in here. This one I haven't glued it in yet, and it's very not bent, but this side is perfectly bent. So this is amazing. If you want something to keep the shape in, just glue an extra piece of EVA foam in, and it's gonna retain that shape. That is pretty cool to know. I wanted to avoid the same mistakes I made with the crown, where the edges I glued together looked really bad. So this time I carefully used structure paste to fill the glued seams before meticulously sanding it down. It takes time, but I guess it's worth it.
"2,000 years later."
That's how our neck and shoulder and front piece looks right now. You can see I glued on the neck. I took care of the seams on the side here. I'm not gonna take care of the seams around because I want to glue the same embellishment I have on the head. I want to glue that here so it ties in together. But the next step will be to prime this before I can paint this. Yes, so let's do that. I did the same steps I did for the crown. Priming with Plasti-Dip, black base coat, and a gold coat on top. This is how the armor piece looks right now. I'm not good at using spray paint, so it is a bit blotchy, or is that an English word? Is that a word, blotchy? like speckled, not very even. It doesn't look very even. I'm gonna work on this with some more paint. I'm gonna paint the inside a bit more to make it more even. I will again use different colors to make this also less just plain gold and more 3D. Next thing is I want to use Velcro in the back to open and close it so I can wear it. So I will attach the Velcro here as well. I will show you that when I do it. And yeah, but that means I'm almost done with the Kuzco. The Kuzco. I didn't take any video of how I painted this or how I started with the shading. I will do more of that later. But first I glued on this trim here. You can see I attached it into place with little pins. I hope that I can remove them later and not the whole glue is gonna come off. But yeah, so that's right now the state the chest piece is in. Something else I want to show you. Get around. So you see I added some Velcro. One side of the Velcro, the other is here. So this is how I can put this thing on and off. And yeah, so let's keep working on this. I am using mica powder instead of acrylic paint because I have it lying around and I feel like it looks a bit more organic on the chest plate and a bit more realistic. It's so shiny. I sealed the mica powder with a clear varnish. And now it's time for the reveal. Okay, wrap up time. Overall, I'm very happy with how the chest piece and the crown came out. And I'm super happy that both of them survived the move. We already talked about the fact that my foam work was not very neat on the crown, so I had to cover this up. And when I'm wearing the chest piece, here it is. When I'm wearing the chest piece, I cannot actually lift my arms because the foam comes up until here and then I just can't lift my arms, which is something I should improve upon for my next time I'm making any type of armor. But as we already talked about in the video, it's good to learn from past mistakes. And if you don't make mistakes, you cannot learn. That's why I make them. Well, not really. But yeah, so overall I'm very happy. And if you want to see more of the Kuzco cosplay build or generally just things about cosplay, me talking about cosplay, chaos, cosplay chaos, why don't you subscribe to this channel? Maybe leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, and yeah, I will see you next time.